Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we are solving another puzzle, and today's puzzle is the Hanayama U&U puzzle. Now the U&U puzzle is quite a mouthful to say to start with, quickly, but it is a level 4 out of a possible 6 on Hanayama's own difficulty scale, which means it's going to be fairly challenging, but not the hardest we've ever done. Although the spectrum of level 4s can vary dramatically, we've got the level 4 UFO puzzle all the way up here on the leaderboard of hardest to easiest puzzles that we've done so far. But we also have the cast coil puzzle down here. So the variance from bottom shelf to top shelf in level 4 puzzles means that the U&U puzzle could be extremely challenging, it could be relatively easy. There's only one way to find out though, and that is cracking on with trying to disassemble these two U&U pieces and then reassemble them, and then we will place them on our leaderboard based on how hard it is and my personal opinion. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so here is the U&U puzzle, and to be honest, something I didn't expect was that these would twist. Don't know why, but I didn't expect these nuts to twist, and I'm fairly certain it's not going to be as simple as you undo that and then slide them off. So yeah, we can get them all. I imagine we can get them all to the end, but not off. And yeah, at first glance, I guess it seems impossible. Well, the obvious thing to try, which I'm fairly certain isn't going to be the solution, is to stagger these as much as possible and then slide. Yeah, we can't quite fit past that one there. However, I have read on the box, this is one of the old style boxes, which in my opinion is nowhere near as attractive as the new boxes. But it says here, the key to unlocking these parts is to look carefully at each part first. The theme is complexity. It was designed by Kyo Wong. And yeah, up here, this looks like a combination of spare parts, but looks are deceiving. This puzzle comes with a deviously hidden trick. So, which means essentially that there's a difference between this bit and this bit that we need to identify, and I imagine that difference is going to be what helps us separate this puzzle. Thinking about how this possibly solves in terms of its like final move, I'm thinking maybe they come through each other or around each other and then separate from there. Is there a difference in the nuts? They all look exactly the same size or same width, so they can't sort of fit through there. And if they can't fit through there, where can they fit? Because something at some point needs to fit through the other one. I've not really had a look for what the difference is between these two pieces yet. I'm just trying to see what fits through what. Since that is very close to fitting up there. So maybe the difference is there is one part of these 4 and then one of these sides of the nut that this actually fits past. Like there. So that one, this side here must be slightly slimmer for that to fit up there. And then looking at this one here looks slightly slimmer as well. So, so we've got to here. And now I'm fairly sure that that this is now slim enough to fit past here. While we're here, let's just have a quick look at this one here. So these ones, that bit there might be slightly thinner. So maybe we need to do it on both sides. So let's come back down here and then arrange it in a similar way to this one as this one is on this one here. So if we here, we can pass through there and through there. Does this one have a thinner side? I'm not sure that it does. So for reference, that is the one that has the U&U engraving on, and that one. So we've figured out the difference and we've made some progress. I need to be able to twist it now, I think. There. So then we can come, yeah, I'm not describing this great, but I think we've now done it. Yeah, so we've got past that, we've twisted it. Now, oh no, because we can't then just come over the top of that one. I think we've just taken a step backwards when we sort of got to here. So let's go back to where we were. So this is the one with the slightly smaller edge. I'm only really working with extremes as well. I'm only having it either right at the top or right at the bottom. So I think here is more of a progression than that previous position that we just had. There's definitely none of these that are smaller. That's a good point. To get to that position there, we only need one of these in there. Maybe it requires a different, because I'm almost certain that this one, so here's the U&U engraving, the nut to the right of that U&U engraving doesn't have a thinner side on any of its, either of any of these 6 sides. The other 3 do. So maybe, I don't know why, but if we just try and alternate these, maybe we end up in a slightly different position when we slide past each other on this one. So I don't know why it's taking me this long, but about 10 minutes ago I said, oh, maybe it's to do with the order of which side that these ones are on. And I finally decided to swap them over into this position, and what I found is that it doesn't work on this side to get into that position. See, here this seems wider. Why is that? It's definitely possible for it to fit past here because I have done on its own previously. Why is it not fitting this time? Definitely got the right sides and the right position. So why is it not working? Let's figure out if it is one that's not working or both. Seems we've got one of them that's stuck. That's not good. It's genuinely stuck. Phew, there we go. I was going to grab some pliers for a second. I think I've exhausted every possible move or potential move with the positions that I've tried at the minute. So we need to try something else. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty lost at the minute. I don't know how we get past this nut. I cannot see a way where we can get past that. The other three have slightly thinner nuts, but I can't see a way past that fourth nut. Am I missing? I must be missing something. I feel like I've tried every combination of up and down and trying to slide them all past using those thinner sides, but it's that nut that has no thinner side that's always the bit that I get caught on. So, yeah, I must be missing something. Is it thinner at any point going round? If it is, it's extremely slight. Although saying that, I think there is a bit that's a bit thinner. You can see here they all have nice sort of curves around them. Nice consistent curve. Nice consistent curve. Here we've got a little bit of a, I'm not sure whether you'll be able to see that on camera, but it's sort of quite smooth over here, but in this gap over here, by the copyright Hanayama sign, we've got a bit more of a, it's like it's been shaved in there. That is interesting, because it means, okay, I'm happy now. I think this is going to make me happy. So we've got one bit on the U&U part of the puzzle that doesn't have a thinner bit, and on the opposite piece we have a different thinner bit for that to get past. So question is, does it go past the two nuts first and then use that gap to fit past that to finish, or is it the other way around, or can you do it both ways? Because it's already like this with the not shaved nut at the top, we'll try it this way first. And there's also a question of whether it matters as to which one of these comes off first or second. Yeah, so if we're this way around, yeah, we're not going to be able to use that groove because it's on the wrong side. Let's try swapping these over. So the gap must be used to go over this side of the U&U piece. So it must be that part, as we look down, that part of this arch of that Hanayama piece, is it thin enough to just slide over there? Oh, yes it is. Yes it is. Yes it is. Yes it is. And that didn't require much force, which means that must have been the right move. So now, yes. So now we can use this smooth side to come into this position. But the difference when we were in this position before is that this nut on top didn't have a thin side. But I know that it does, and it is that one, and this one does as well. I think we're about to do it. Need to move these a little bit more. This is quite a complicated solution. So we're getting closer. Yeah. So we've got these bits out. Oh, and there we go. There we go. I feel like there must be a simpler way of those final parts. That is very awkward. And they've ended up in sort of different positions. This one's a third of the way down, and all the other three are right at their extremes. Oh, that's brilliant. I really liked that puzzle. That has a lot more steps to it than I thought it would. Reading the part on the box made it made it sort of not obvious, but easier to find what we were looking for, which I originally thought was just the slightly shaved down sides of three of the four nuts, but it was also about that little groove in there, which I didn't find for quite a while. Yeah, that's very clever. Very clever. Right, let's put it back together, and yeah, then we'll rank it on the leaderboard. Or we'll place it. And now to see whether we can put it all back together. See, I think I might have made it a bit more challenging for myself. I think the other way around. I think if we swap, that should be the Hanayama piece, yeah. I think if we swap those two pieces around, it'll actually work much better. I've genuinely got a piece stuck. Can't twist it. I think I've genuinely gonna have to grab some pliers. There we go. We've saved the day. That is not how you're supposed to solve this puzzle. There we go. Oh, we've reassembled the U&U puzzle. That was much trickier, and I'm not 100% convinced I found the most efficient method, either for taking it apart or putting it back together. You definitely shouldn't need pliers like I just did for either part, disassembling it or reassembling it. So yeah, I'm going to have a play around with this one and figure out hopefully a more efficient way of solving this one. But that was a very challenging puzzle. I enjoyed it very much, and yeah, U&U puzzle done. So there it is. We managed to separate the U&U and then eventually put it back together. Overall, that was a challenging one, an extremely challenging one. It took me a long time, I'm not sure how long, I was quite quickly noticing the differences in the three nuts. But it took me quite a while, and essentially just exhausting the possibilities with just those three modified nuts, sort of variations of positions of those. I essentially exhausted all those positions and then realised there had to be something else. And that's when we realised that there was a slightly bigger groove in the Hanayama piece. And eventually we then worked it to separate it, and then we reversed all that process to put it back together. Part of me is hoping that I've not got it exactly right, because it wasn't a smooth separation and it wasn't a smooth reassembly. So I'm hoping after a little bit of playing around with the U&U puzzle that I managed to figure out a smoother way to separate them and a smoother way to then reassemble both pieces. And the final thing we need to do is place it on our leaderboard. Hardest are up here, easiest are down here. Where does the U&U rank? Now, after a little bit of thought, I have narrowed it down to between this above the arrows puzzle and below the padlock, or possibly above the padlock puzzle. It's definitely not harder than the cylinder, so we're working in sort of here to here range to start with. Now we need to narrow it down as to which particular spot it is going to occupy. Now if we work our way up from the nutcase puzzle, it's very similar to the nutcase puzzle in terms of there's a single position, a single position as far as I'm aware with the U&U, but with the nutcase there is definitely a single position where you make progress and then you have to readjust pieces and to then make more progress. So it's not just a one and done position. The question is whether it's harder or easier. It might be similar, but if we jump above the nutcase to the infinity puzzle, we solved the infinity puzzle fairly recently. Is the U&U harder than the infinity? I'm not sure. This is a challenging one to place. So we'll jump up another one to the dial puzzle. Solved the dial quite a while ago. And I'm tempted to say that the U&U is harder than the dial. So if we jump up one again, we go to the H&H puzzle. This is really interesting because these are all very different puzzles in terms of how they are solved, which means that their difficulty is hard to rank. I'd sort of put them all on a level playing field because they're all so different. The next one up is the padlock puzzle. Now I don't think it's harder than the padlock. I think we've hit a ceiling there at that end. So at least we've narrowed it down to one of 5 places. But enough messing around. Decided it is going to be harder than the H&H puzzle, but easier than the padlock. Am I happy with that decision? Yes, I am. That is where the U&U puzzle is going to sit. The top end of shelf number 2, which is, I think, 11th position so far. The only downside to this puzzle is the old style box that we've got it in, which is nowhere near as aesthetically pleasing as the new style of boxes, but I will live with that for now. So there we go, that is the U&U puzzle disassembled, reassembled, and then placed on the leaderboard. Hopefully you have been entertained in some fashion. Thank you very much for being here. If you want to see me solve more Hanayama puzzles like these and the step-by-step solutions to each and every one of them, then be sure to click my face here to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Peace!